This is my thoughts and opinions only. I am going to be talking a lot about things that Charlie Kirk said. I apologize for not being able to screen share and show you these words for word. I try not to take anything out of context. I know a lot of people do that, but this is basically going to be a lot of my opinions. I feel like anybody that wants to share theirs, like, go right ahead because this is like a big discussion that's like basically people's opinions. It's not some scholarly thing, and it's not like a college dissertation or thesis or anything like that. But these are themes running through our society that I'm sure a lot of people who are online notice. Hi, Jacob. And I want to start by saying the red pill definition. When you Google it, Google even says red pill used to refer to. That's what the Google definition. And I didn't look it up today. It was like that recently. And it is interesting because we all know it for to be the like the Matrix movie when we figure out we're part of some kind of simulated society of sorts and choosing to be like in or out of that. But it's not what it used to be 10, 15 years ago in internet forums, that kind of waking up to the world in truth. But now it's a bunch of ideology that involves blaming all of the world's suffering on women, not offering any real solutions. And I'm going to get to the good point about Charlie Kirk. I'm saying mostly good things about him, and I do think that there's a lot of truth in red pill ideology. There's a lot of truth sprinkled in there, and that's one reason why it is so pervasive because a lot of the things said are true or partly true, but the thing that gets me the most is not offering any real solutions. And many people have made careers off of saying the same things over and over, once again, with no real resolutions or solutions. Hey, Mr. Carey, how are you doing tonight? So I'm going to like say a few things. Now, there's probably more, but I think this is a pretty good summary of what I would call like red pill tenants. And I think that Charlie would say a lot of these things too, but he actually lent a working solution. Charlie was the person that people that are into red pill ideology should probably listen to, in my opinion. So a lot of what they say is like women have been ruined by feminism, women hit the wall or they're out of their prime. That's what Charlie Kirk said. Women are no longer in their prime, in their 30s. Women take no accountability for anything. Single moms and single motherhood is bad and bad for all of society. There's a lot of this high value talking about what makes a man or a woman high value. And this is in a lot of online spaces, not just Red Pill, but Red Pill specifically, like a few years ago, they were all about going by Kevin Samuels standards. If you don't know who that is, he has since passed on. But he had very specific criteria. It was like you had to make $80,000 a year or more. I believe you had to be 6 feet tall. Like it was just, I'm sorry, it's just a lot of things that people literally can't help the way they were born and will never be that way. But it's also the red pill tenants. Women's body count matters while men's body count does not. If you don't know what that is, that's how many people you've slept with. The first time I heard the term body count, I thought people were trying to sound like gangsters and talking about like how many people they had. And so I was like, what is up with all these young people talking about body counts and like high body counts and their body counts? And like, it was so goofy to me. And women filed for divorce 80% of the time and take half of the man's money all the time. Like this is like something the way and it like I don't think it's healthy for young men to be soaking up this rhetoric about like so much negativity because that is the law of attraction. That is what manifestation is. And you attract what you focus on. And so of course they include things like women shouldn't be able to vote in with all of that. As you can see, it's basically went from being like we live in a simulated reality and like you wake up and like you take the pill or not, and to women are bad and the cause of everything bad. And I think it's very detrimental and it listening to Charlie Kirk, a lot of these things were brought up. And he actually offered something other than the nihilistic rhetoric that defines the victims and the perpetrator and leaves the victims feeling like in this victim mentality and like coming back for more of that like In a way, I don't know how, like, I don't know why, but it's addictive in my opinion. It's the same thing. All red pill people say the same things on repeat, and they never offer anything past like the same. It's like pointing at a car wreck and being like, "Oh, look at that car wreck," when like you could actually help maybe, or like do something other than just like pointing at the car wreck and talking about it every single freaking day. Like they seriously, all they do is talk about the same handful of talking points I already brought up. I am going to get into the chat after I just messed up my camera. Bear with me. Okay. So I really liked how Charlie, and I don't think that everybody should get married, okay? Like, not everybody, but when it comes to men who are seeking partnership and desire that, like, he would actually be like, you know what? It's not good to sow your wild oats. It's not good to sleep around. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for your mind or body. And like, it's good for men and women if they want marriage to try to find that earlier in life to settle down with your life partner early. That's a blessing. That's a good thing, and I thought that that was a lovely message. Although I do feel like less people now than ever are going to be prepared to be married early. It is something that, like us growing up in the 90s, just the way we were treated about relationships and the advice most of us were given, we weren't like mentored that well. Maybe we can all learn from this and start like preparing our younger people earlier. And that is, in essence, what he was helping to try to do. So I been watching a lot of his content and I saw a lot. Okay, I'm jumping ahead of my notes. He would also offer suggestions for men's life paths that go beyond the superficial things. Although he did talk about finances a lot because finances are important. We all need money. So it's not to like act like money isn't important. But he would talk about how it's important for a man to be financially successful to have a family, and he shouldn't be a husband until he can make good money. And I thought that that was all good messages that young men, especially young men in these online spaces, need to hear. And he lived by his example. He actually walked the walk, he got married, what, in his late 20s, which nowadays that's a little young. And him and his wife, I saw a lot of interviews they did together. And when Charlie missed nuances, when I when I was like, "Oh my gosh, like why aren't you thinking about this?" And like his wife would step in often and like offer him those nuances, and I thought it was a great thing. Like they were refining each other as people, and that's what happens in any good marriage. And like, seeing him interact with her, like, I definitely look at him in less of a misogynistic light, but, like, there's a spectrum of it, and I think, like, most of us are at least a little misogynistic, and women included, but, like, he and his wife, they were a good example of a good marriage, and I wanna say some other things that Charlie said that were red pill-esque. I wouldn't count them as red pill tenets, but this is just where they like really aligned with a lot of what they said. And I agree. I'll tell you with what I agree with. Birth control screws up female brains. Um, I agree with this because I know from experience how it made me feel inside. And they tell you to keep taking it for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. You want me to go crazy for 6 weeks? You want me to feel these things? I can't say the words of on my YouTube live. If, like you want me to feel like that for 6 weeks straight? That's insane. Every woman, okay, I shouldn't say every woman, most women I know who have been on birth control talk about how it makes them feel mentally unwell or unstable. So many women, these doctors have to be told this often, and they're lying to all of us, making it sound like it. And I'm 38 years old. I was offered birth control last year, and I told that doctor, it was a man. I was like, I thought anybody over the age of 35, you're so prone to blood clots at that point, like it's not worth taking the birth control pill. And he's like, oh no, that's not my whole life. I was told like over the age of 35. Anyways, it's in our water supply at this point, so whether you're taking it or not, I don't filter my bath water, my shower water. I used to do that, and most of us don't. Most of us don't do that or like get as good of filters as we can because they don't filter out pharmaceuticals in our water supply. So it just makes you wonder how much this is affecting people. I have a video on my channel about how fish in the Potomac River are growing male fish are growing eggs. This is like a new phenomenon. It's several years old. It's been happening for a long time, and they look towards the water, biologists and scientists. to see what is going to affect everybody else in the ecosystem next, because they reside in the water. Those animals are going to show the effects of water, and we all are going to be affected by water and quality no matter what, if we live on land or water. And it's really interesting to think about. Just think about everything going on today. And male fish growing female eggs. Just think about it. It's interesting. So I had a few friends. This is anecdotal evidence, okay? But I saw it. I saw it. This one friend, especially, she was on that shot for 9 years. And I was the person that told her, not the person giving her the shot. I was like, you're not supposed to take that shot longer than like a year. Like we were always taught it's a temporary form of birth control. It's bad for you because it stops your cycle. You don't have periods at all. And I feel bad for this, and, God, I hope neither her or her ex-husband ever see this. She had a wonderful husband, okay? No, I wasn't in their marriage, but this man was a wonderful man. They had 1 child together, wonderful situation. His family was wonderful to them, gave them a house to live in. No, it wasn't a mansion or anything. They were, like, fixing it up, but still, they had a nice life. She cheated on him. I swear to goodness, it was that birth control that, and I knew her as a person, like she was a pastor's daughter. And now I'm giving away too much information, but like basically she was a good person. She had a good heart, okay? She would have never, and the person she cheated on him with was this guy. Oh my gosh, talk about downgrading. There was like not one redeeming quality about this man. He was a bad person on top of leaving your good husband for this bad person. I've seen that happen. And then this other another friend, I'm not going to say the type of birth control, but she basically expressed, and yeah, basically it's kind of same story. Birth control, but okay, it was like a semi-permanent form of birth control, and then maybe that's part of it. Like she felt like she couldn't get pregnant anymore, but I don't know. When a woman starts cheating on her husband, I can't be friends with them anymore. Like both times, it was like within two, talking twice. I don't know how to say it. 2 times of us talking, of them telling me what was going on. That it was like I can't, especially like I can't be around your husband when I know what's going on, and both of them wanted to use me as an excuse for the cheating, right? Like, no. So that could have just be correlation does not equal causation, but I know how it made me feel as a woman. I know it made me feel mentally unwell and unstable. And I was very young and I didn't know like how to really advocate for myself. And kept giving you different like kinds of it, oh, low dose, whatever. And so for a man like Charlie that said all the other things he said, like a lot of people that need to hear that message might not hear it. But I mean, actually, the last several times I've seen this spoken about in online spaces, women are like telling other women, we are all collectively waking up in so many ways. I'd be interested to see exactly how much birth control is still prescribed or taken, because women are being honest with themselves. And like when I was growing up, they'd be like, oh, like the birth control pill, you can get pregnant as soon as you stop. Like I remember them telling us that when we were younger. All you have to do, no matter how long you take it, all you have to do is stop. And like within a month or two, your cycle will be back to normal and you'll be fertile again. That doesn't seem to be as true either. So, women should focus on motherhood and not careers. And once again, I made like a blanket statement, and I really shouldn't put words in his mouth like that, because I don't think Charlie ever said all women, absolutely, all women should do this or that ever. But of course, he advocated mostly for women to concentrate on motherhood. And I have a lot to talk about when it comes to women choosing career over motherhood. And he said college is a scam for everybody across the board, but of course he made that comment that like they should bring the MRS degree back so women can go to college just to find a life partner. And women who want kids are narcissistic, or that is due to narcissism, and men always have and still want kids. And I can't stress this enough. Watching him and his wife was so bittersweet. So I think it's really interesting when people, and especially red pill spaces, talk about like men and kids, because my whole life it seems like how many men do you all know that like couldn't wait to have babies? You know what I mean? And it's like this weird like, and I do believe Charlie actually genuinely couldn't wait to have babies. That's what happens when your goal is to get married and have a family. Once again, that's like not what I think everybody should do. We're talking about people who want to. And like I feel really badly thinking about people who want to and can't. People who are infertile and like struggling with that. I really do like I don't want anybody to ever feel bad about that, or like I don't have any compassion for that. It's like I totally do. I think about those women like all Mother's Day. Okay, so when it comes to careers, it's this whole late stage capitalism that we've gotten ourselves into. And like it's not, it's always pointing the finger at strictly at women. Like we're so materialistic, we just want to get into the job force. It's so many of us have been failed by so many men, like myself included. Yes, I have daddy issues just as much as the next person, but like most people I know, not my husband actually, like he had a good father. So like not everybody has had a father that failed them, but there's been so many women that had bad experiences. We were taught like you just can't win with these people either, with the red pill people. Not Charlie. He was actually genuinely like believed when he said that like women should focus on motherhood. With red pill, it's like if the woman is a career woman, she's a boss babe, and that's a bad thing. If she's not, then she's a gold digger. If she's a stay-at-home mom, you can't win with those people because they're downright misogynistic. And the more I learn about Charlie, I'm like, yeah, I said he said misogynistic things, but I wouldn't call him a misogynist. I don't think he looked at women and okay. See, there's like when you look at a pilot and think, oh, I hope you're like, actually a decent pilot, even though because you're black, like that's why I said it's borderline racism. Like it has to be looking at somebody and thinking anything different of them. And that's what like when you do that with women, the extension of that is children, and that's why like we're here in this horrible place we're in. And most of us have to work. Like if we didn't work as much as we did and get our bills as low as we did, we wouldn't be able to live off of one income. Most people can't live off one income, especially starting out. And Erica Kirk did a great job like bringing nuance to the conversation. Like one time Charlie said men should only have mortgage. Like that should be their only debt. The only debt a man should have is a mortgage payment. And she was like, well, what if they come from nothing and they had to go into debt to go to school? Because like you have to admit, Charlie, she didn't say this. She didn't say this, but I'm sure she said things similarly before. Like some people do need to go to college. Like we need doctors, we need lawyers and stuff. Like I get what he was saying about college being a scam in a lot of situations. College loans, like student loans, that's something that Republicans won't really like go near because it's like that prideful, oh, you signed your name on the dotted line, you should be able to pay for it. But like, no, college student loans are predatory. And there's nothing else we can go sign our name on at the age of 18 with absolutely no income, no credit, and get handed to us. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. And of course, you can't claim bankruptcy and everything later on in life. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. And I think that that system needs to stop. And I wish he would have brought up that more. And perhaps he did, but like, usually I would just see him say like, like trade school is better and stuff like that, which I do totally agree with. But like there's still college degrees that are worth getting. Like the liberal, the like feminist studies, like gender studies type stuff. Like I understand where he was coming from with that. Like I knew somebody who made up his own degree and went to Indiana University, I believe, and he's doing great. Like if you're a hardworking person and there's many fields. There's this lady I follow on YouTube. She makes lace like by hand, and she's worked at very prestigious universities because it is such a dying art. And it's like I think it's so neat to see people like take such unique paths like that. Like anything is possible if you really believe in yourself and you really work hard enough at it. But of course, debt is going to weigh anybody down. And I totally agree with a lot of college is a scam. But as women are getting more of the higher education degrees, like I think like we should be encouraging men to go and get those higher earning degrees as well instead of telling them that all college is a scam. Women want less kids due to narcissism, or like that's why I've started to say this late stage capitalism. Yes, women have always been the people that consumed the most in the family unit, and for good reason. A lot of it is, you're buying everybody's everything. You're buying the food you're gonna make, but like a lot of it is like, let's be real, women just buy more shit. We buy more stuff we don't need to, and so it makes sense. The more money you make, that's how it's always been in my life. The more money you make, the more money you're going to spend. The more you get, you have to work. You have to make the mortgage payment. You have to make your car payment. And like we also need to tell people to live below their means and do whatever they can to have bills as cheap as they can. Like car repossessions are really high right now. And surely that has something to do with the average car note being like $500, something crazy like that. And I just feel so badly for young people. So it's not all about just like red pill tends to just point their finger at the problem and be like, oh, look at that. Isn't that horrible? It's all women's fault. Women take no accountability. But yet, according to their tenants, like, um, I would say men take no accountability in those red pill spaces. I would not include Charlie Kirk in that. That's why I'm saying a lot of the things he said were similar, but he actually would be helpful if young men took his advice. He could actually help a lot of people. And let me see. I think even when women couldn't vote, they were leaning in their husbands' ears, reminding them of nuances. Men, Jordan Peterson, one of my favorite Jordan Peterson quotes is men are interested in things, women are interested in people, and we balance each other out. Like my husband has helped me become a little bit more, I was going to say logical, that just come out of my mouth. Um, I like to think that I add a lot of the abstract nuances to his life and the way he thinks maybe, and we're supposed to complement each other like that. And I haven't watched hours and hours of Charlie's work, but I definitely feel like the more that I watch his content, that we lost a really valuable human being who was so young. He was just in his early 30s. Who knows what he would have said, what he could have said if he was given more of a chance at life. And I believe in my heart it would have involved, especially as his marriage matured, more advice on relationships in women and how to be a good husband, and just he would have been a great mentor for so many men. I'm done with my notes and now I'm going to read a little bit from the live. Oh, that's 21 minutes. That's good. I'm just some random dude, high school diploma, haven't made less than 220,000 in several years. I have 6 kids, all homeschooled. Militant roots, that's awesome. Good for you, especially homeschooling all 6 kids. Good for you. That's great. Yeah, this I'm not gonna like of course I'm gonna milk the Charlie Kirk stuff a little bit because I'm genuinely interested, but I don't want people who are loyal viewers to think that I'm going to be doing this like for weeks straight. I promise I'm not. I'm gonna get back into the Jungian psychology she book. It's just like I can't not think about this every day, all day long. I think about this, and I genuinely was like, wow, like he was like the good side of red pill, like bringing to light a lot of stuff, but at the same time, like the single motherhood stuff, okay, I didn't say everything I wanted to say about that. I really don't like how all people on the internet just like blame single mothers like they are like asexual beings that just like, formed this baby in their body. There wasn't another person that had anything to do with it. And what really needs to happen is for men to take more accountability in that way with children. And the way that they're often talking about single mothers is just like so abhorrent. And yes, statistically, a child is going to be better off not in a single parent home. Those are, but what are you going to do about it from there? Like, what are you going to do to guide people so they create less single parent homes? Because it's not just about like pointing your finger at the women and being like, you bad woman, you had a baby out of wedlock. Instrumentation and controls, contracting at power stations, militant roots. Oh, that's me. Good for you. Oh, fishing queen, I'm glad. I'm glad you feel good. You feel better, period free. Good for you. Deport serious. What stocks do I like? Oh, Big Hill Farmer. I don't play in the stock market at all. I don't have a 401k or anything. Remain confident. Kirk said you shouldn't be able to vote. Oh, remain confident. I mentioned that in my other videos. And I mentioned it briefly earlier in this live. He did say that they should repeal that amendment, and I disagree with that. And I think that that's a really regressive way to think. And I just don't understand the mindset that like women have ruined. Like there's a lot of men that vote liberally too. Pharaoh's collection. I'm a poor white guy and a democratic socialist, all because I think we should treat each other fairly. Well, I support anything anybody thinks as long as they're respectful about it. I get it. I mean, I just with all the money floating around in the world, I don't think that anybody should be starving, especially children. And like we should all be living like the Jetsons. We should at least have like high-speed trains in our country at this point. Like the fact we've had so much money, so many tax dollars flowing through everybody's hands and like, meaning the politicians. Then, Trump's over there like bragging about a freaking ballroom. It's like this is a joke. We live in a joke. But I'm glad Trump won. I wanted Trump to win. I'm not the biggest fan of him though. You'll never see me with like a MAGA hat or anything like that. Parisian, if I missed your question, will you ask it again in case I missed it? Ernie Chips accidentally farted. Militant roots. Charlie knew women shouldn't vote. Well, I just don't think that our sex organs impede us from thinking critically. And I do understand, I said this before, I understand thinking women are overly emotional and irrational. They like think with their emotions too much. But men commit over 90% of violent crimes. That stems from aggression. And like men can be irrationally emotional as well, and it'd be different if there was like all these great men showing us up in society. Unfortunately, I don't feel like that's the way it is. And I say that as a mother of three sons that like want all men to do better. And it's like women are outpacing men in terms of like single women are buying more homes than single male counterparts. Single women are getting more high earning education degrees than their male counterparts. There is no female loneliness epidemic like there is a male loneliness epidemic because there's just as many women not participating in marriage or having children, but they're not walking around calling themselves lonely. And I see, I feel like such a bitch saying that, but it's just the truth of the situation. So what are we going to do about it? What can we do to actually help men and help them better their lives and themselves? Pharaoh said Charlie spread hatred and bigotry. He said school SHOOTINGs were okay as long as we kept GUN rights. So I believe in the Second Amendment, and in my opinion, like there's no taking all the GUNs back. In making more laws, I know from experience, like there are a lot of laws, and like the people that are like, we need to make more laws, like it's like that. I'm sorry to laugh at it, but it's not an easy situation, and I wish it was as easy as just making more legislation. I really wish it was. I think we could at least put metal detectors in our kids' school. They didn't hate Charlie because he was wrong, they hated him because he was right. And honestly, not to put words in a dead man's mouth, but I would say that Charlie would even say, "Yeah, I said that, and I still believe that up in heaven with Jesus, I do." Because that's how principled he was. And that's like one thing that a lot more people, men and women, could learn from. Like if he was told this is how you're going to DIE, I believe it's possible Charlie was told, or he even picked his fate, but he was a soul before he came to this earth. And it's like, yeah, if anybody would be like, yeah, yeah, I'll do that if it means that, it would be a man like Charlie. Jonathan, there's nothing wrong with what Charlie said, but where he chose to say it. It's so sad. And he wasn't a dictator. He invited everybody else to come speak their minds with him, to debate with him, and he was always so fair. I never saw that man being snarky. I've watched hours of him, and he's never snarky. Like Ben Shapiro could be a little snarky. There's a lot. Steven Crowder. I used to be a big fan of Steven Crowder. I used to watch him when he first came on YouTube years ago. Watched his show every day, and I was never a part of the Mug Club or whatever, but um, if you approve of his messaging, approve of all of his messaging. Do not be lukewarm. Oh, Parisian, I don't like that. I'm a registered independent. Like my mom was like, you vote Democrat. This family votes Democrat. You vote straight Democrat no matter what. I don't believe in that ever. I don't think that you should ever like believe. I don't want anybody that follows me to believe in everything I say 100% of the time just because Lydia said it. I we're all like we could all find something we don't agree with somebody else if we just keep talking to each other. Yeah, they're all the same people who judge anyone they can't relate to, John said. How are children in an abusive two-parent home? Oh, right. Those are the nuances, right? And Turvit, that was another thing that Erica, his wife, would like be like, we're not talking about abusive situations, and I didn't ever see him bring up that nuance when he was talking about like your submission and marriage and stuff like that. Charlie was a great person. Howard, I agree. I think after watching hours of him, I think his character was good. And this taught me a lot. I said, yeah, he said racist and misogynistic things, but you don't really know a person's true character ever, really, until you spend so much time around them personally. But like, I think I'm a good judge of character, like from a distance. And I think he was a good person. He was a good man. I think he was People kind of jumped on me for saying, but it's true. He grew up privileged. He said that school kids shouldn't get free lunch because if they couldn't afford to eat, their parents need to just go work more. That to me just screams like a privileged background. Like he doesn't understand because he hasn't ever been around it. That like some people are just so incredibly poor and their parents don't care about working and making money, even if it means they don't have any food in the refrigerator or their cabinets at home. Like that horrible scene in Babies, you know what I'm talking about? Where, like, they go home with the kids and there's no food in their apartment. Fishing Queen, it's just the subject. When I put Charlie Kirk in there, it just invites a little bit of extra traffic. Jonathan, one thing is making videos on YouTube on political views, another thing is going to college campus to debate on those political views. That's extreme. Yeah, Jonathan, but I understood, oh, thank you, Fishing Queen, you're so sweet. I understood why he did it, and he said something about it, like, this is because they're people too, they're voting age people, and a lot of people discredit them. Actually, it was like one college age woman said to him, she's like, "Why are you here, like, talking to college kids?" Like, kinda like trying to, I don't wanna say discredit, but basically saying, like, he was a loser, some for, like and he's like, "Why? Like, these are voting people, and they need to be." He wanted to be a voice for, like, it's okay to be conservative because he knew that there's so many kids that feel the things he feels or are on the fence even, and, like, they're not even allowed to think, they're not even allowed to cultivate their own political beliefs on a college campus, like, oh my gosh, that used to be where people did do that, right? And now it's like, black or white, you have to be on the right side. What amendment did he say that they should have to repeal? What is the amendment that made women able to vote? The 19th? I didn't want to say the number because I couldn't remember the exact number. Hey, Ravek, how are you, Big Hill Farmer? Hey, Fendi, how are you? What about Myron from Fresh and Fit, if you know who that is? Yeah, I know who Myron is. Oh, he's a character. I think he's one of those people, he's really smart in how he has marketed himself and like he's the most successful red pill podcaster, right? Way up there. And it's interesting to me how women seem to climb to the top in that space faster. 19th, thank you, Militant Roots. That's what I thought, the 19th Amendment. Fendi, last live when you were in here and I said the MOSSAD had a U in it, I felt so dumb when I listened to that. I was like, it doesn't have a U in it. Why did I say that? And like, there's just certain, I have like, I'm not making fun. I have like a weird form of dyslexia, I swear to goodness. Thank you, Joel. I am married for 15 years. I just want to like everybody to know that. Oh, Sanjivani, Charlie's wife, Erica Kirk. I think she's an absolutely beautiful person inside and out. I watched a lot of stuff with them together, a few things with her without him. I watched her getting crowned as Miss Arizona in 2011. Such a beautiful woman, like radiantly beautiful and like genuinely beautiful. So when people like make fun of her and the way she acts, like all I see is a formerly trained beauty queen and like trying to honor her husband and his legacy in their whole foundation the best way that she knows how. And I think she seems like a great person. I know she's gonna have a great support system. That's like one good thing about this situation is she will be able to juggle being the head of that foundation, I think, and raising their children. And yeah, just wish her the best. And I think she's a sweet person. There's an interview. I'm sorry, I don't remember the channel. It's a channel that has like less subscribers than my channel does right now that she was on a year ago. And it's just like, wow, she was on like this teeny tiny channel a year ago and, I actually I got upset. I had to turn it off, shortly into that because it was just a little too much. T.I., I don't think he hated women with a passion, which is better than most of the red pill community. I completely agree with you, T.I. Yes, exactly. They looked at everything like as women's fault. I think Charlie Kirk saw more of it as like these societal issues. Well, yes, pointing the finger a little bit too much at single mothers, but you're still going to tell men like it's not a good thing to sleep around. It's not a good thing to risk creating a single parent household, and it's something that nobody in the red pill space says. Oh my gosh, it's like the opposite. It's like women aren't allowed to sleep around, but men are encouraged to, and you're not going to be happy unless you do. And yeah, Myron Gaines is one of those people. He wrote a book like what was the book titled? Like 100 Reasons Women Deserve Nothing, something like that, something outrageous. And it's like this like shock jock in I think that people really are hurting, like sincerely hurting. And it's those people playing off of hurt men's feelings, women too, but mostly men when we're talking about the red pill spaces. And it's they got demonetized, didn't they get remonetized or whatever? Pearl Davis, she's another one, she was demonetized for, like, a year or so. I follow these things pretty closely. I've also followed, like, the MGTOW, and, like, when it comes to MGTOW, I think if a man chooses to, like, go his own way, like, more power to him, like, they should be able to do that, there's people that are like that, that aren't complete woman haters, but a lot of them kinda intermingle in the red pill spaces. And I just think it's really interesting. Whenever they actually do talk about statistics, like real actual facts, they get them wrong. They never talk about real facts. They're just like, oh, women take, most of us are impoverished after divorce. It's like 8% of the time alimony is even involved in divorces, and 3% of that is the woman paying the man. So it's just weird. These like outdated things they keep like spinning their wheels on. And like, anyways, yeah. I vote very liberally here in Tennessee. The rich are why we don't have that shit 100%. Sebastian, fun fact, the majority of women are more liberal focused as opposed to men. Yes, but isn't it when a woman is married, she tends to vote conservatively? So it's like single women. We need to get more women to want to be married. And that's okay. So at the heart of all these issues, and you read articles about the plummeting birth rate, they won't go near like the real heart of the issues. And it's something that needs to be spoken about in more than just feminist man hating spaces. People need to be honest that women simply have too much of the domestic workload. When you both work, which most people do nowadays, we need two incomes, most people do, to survive. And it's a problem that women are feeling so burnt out. And they're like, if I have to work, women have less to do when they are single mothers at home. Like the man in their life tends to create more of a workload. My husband isn't like that. My husband has never been like that. I complained about a few things he did after my surgery, and I always felt bad about that because I always like prided myself on not saying anything bad about him ever on the internet. 15 years of marriage, but like at one thing, I couldn't put up with that. I wouldn't be married for 15 years if my husband wasn't as good as he is at sharing the workload with me. Now, when he works full time and I don't, I do most of the work at home, but he is not at all, not at all. Like cooking and cleaning is a woman's job. I don't know how to run the washing machine. I don't it was like Michael Knowles, like some a smart man was like bragging about how he doesn't know how to operate his own washing machine at home. And there's always going to be different situations for different people. And then there's different seasons in those situations. Like things can change from year to year. So like, but for a man to like put his foot down and be like, I'm never going to help out, we're gonna create new life, and like kids make so much more of everything, and then you're not gonna help out with that. In my opinion, that is like the biggest heart of the issue so many times. Well, John, I understand why people would vote for Trump. People saw, oh my gosh, I'm so far up in the chat. Yikes on bikes. People saw in him um they thought he wasn't a typical politician, and we're all tired of the same typical politicians lying to our faces, telling us what we want to hear to get them elected, and then to like go back on their word and not do it. And a lot of us saw different in him. I personally I'd rather have an honest asshole than I can never remember the second part to that. What is it? A lying nice guy. Like that's just like my style of person. Now, the stuff he says, the crass stuff he says, especially about women, no, I don't like. It's just the reality of the situation is most men are misogynistic. Like as a woman who was a waitress for years of my life, like um I shouldn't say that to like but a lot of men are misogynistic and you kind of just learn to accept it even when you shouldn't, if that makes sense. And I think that's what's going on with Trump a lot of the times. We're just like so used to being objectified as women. Daniel said we gave women exactly what they wanted, now they cry. But what do you mean by that, Daniel? Because I don't see a female loneliness epidemic. Women are succeeding and thriving in general, and there's like a million able-bodied men out of the workforce, but you can't say the same thing for women. And I'm not saying that to point the finger at men like they're bad. I'm a mother of three sons myself, two teenage boys walking into this world. Like I don't like what's going on with men. I don't like the way men are treated often, especially by women. So I get it. I understand why this even began to be a thing. I remember people being like, women are so mean. Even when I hold the door open for them, they like yell at me or something like that. I'm like, that is so rude and mean. Like that would piss me off if it happened to me. But there's one thing that I want to talk about. I think the response from all over our globe is well enough representation of the type of good-hearted, common sense people that felt he gave them a voice. Oh, Erosh, yes, I saw so many comments that were like, he taught me to be a good citizen, a better husband, better father, and that just really took me back. I'm like, wow, it made me judge him less. I'm still gonna like it is misogynistic to say that women shouldn't be able to vote. I'm sorry. You're looking at women and judging all of women because of our sex organs, saying we can't think as well as you and make the same decisions, even though most of us participate in the same system and pay the same taxes. But anyways, I did see so many people say that was really affirming for me that he was a sincerely good person. And, so there's this one YouTuber, Dapper Dev. I like him. I follow him. I've made a lot of comments on his channel because I support him. It makes me feel bad when I see other people hurting, and he does a good job expressing this and trying to be there for other men. And basically makes like some what a lot of people would consider red pill. It's like him talking though. He doesn't like sit there and talk about other people a lot. But he made this video that was kind of like, whoa. I think it was yesterday, or the day before, it just encapsulated everything about why women, like, just back off? Like, after you have so many bad experiences, you have, so many bad experiences, and men, I know they have bad experiences too, but our bad experiences, like, involve grape and stuff like that. Like, don't even get me started. So he says that women should be grateful because men do keep the bad men in check because so many men do follow the laws and don't like do what they could do that women should just be grateful for that and we need to watch our backs because like the way things are going there's going to be a lot less of that. It's like literally what he said, like we aren't grateful for all the services men do and how they've built all of society. And first of all, I think most women are very grateful for men that like work physically hard jobs. They think that's really sexy. Like, do they respect anybody but like themselves and anybody in their own little world? Like this social media is creating narcissists. But absolutely, we need to respect everybody, and it goes both ways because women risk their lives to have babies. I risked my life 3 times to bring 3 children into this world. Why is that never considered when people are talking about construction jobs? And let's be real, most men don't work jobs that are life risking. Like a lot of you do. I know a lot of you do. I know my husband has. He's done jobs that's like technically he could DIE any day at work and or KILL somebody else doing the stuff that he does and like driving a forklift and stuff. There's so many things that so many men and women, but mostly men do that people don't understand. Like people DIE in warehouses every year in factories. People DIE making car parts in Kentucky almost every year, if not every year. And like men and women. And we need to all like honor our blue collar workers more because they're the real cogs in the wheel. They're the ones that really make society run. When everything's shut down, all of society and only hospitals are open, you know what else is open? The warehouses. All everything in the supply chain is keeping moving to make sure that Walmart shelves are stocked and everything is there for everybody. People don't credit the factory and warehouse workers, and I worked in a few factories and warehouses for a few years. So I am kind of like patting myself on the back, but I know from experience that like you get looked down upon when it's like these jobs are so important. They're why anybody has anything, literally, food or any other goods. Yeah, not anymore, Vincent, but um, my mama worked at Kmart before she passed. Oh, Gru, I'm sorry to hear that. I have a scar on my nose when I was 4 years old. A ceiling tile fell on my nose. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but yeah, and I have to explain that like every line. Not if they don't leave the home and raise their kids and keep the home. Hey Zeus, how are you tonight? Hey Zeus, we should get real and admit that we should have had a 20-hour work by now with all the automation. Oh, definitely. And they've already proven that like productivity, most people are productive for like 3 to 4 hours a day. It's just keeping us slaves, enslaved at this point. That's the only reason why we have such long work weeks. And so the executives can make a shit ton of money and the rest of us can make like not even livable wages at this point. Social media not only creates narcissistic tendencies in a lot of folks, but it creates a lack of good self perspective as well as a de evolution of our ability to communicate with each other. Yes, that was all very well said. And I don't touch upon that last part enough. Our de evolution of our ability to communicate with each other. Yes. Especially like the young generations, not all young people, but they call it the Gen Z stare. It's like, because they've had so much interaction on a screen and like not as much interaction that's like ping pong back and forth in real time. Like they have more interaction where they're like texting and messaging and it's showing in their faces. It was a while ago, so I'm fine now, Greer said. Oh, Kmart is a so old school. Hey, Nick. I hope everyone is doing great tonight. I'm doing good. How are you, Nick? Digi digital, digital. Make everyone have their own business, make them responsible for their own business, and once they lose their business, they're welcome to leave America. Yeah, we are set up for business owners, like our tax code and everything. I think that would be great. That sounds like a cozy little village situation to me. Everybody has their own little family village, we all like patron each other for like what that one item that person makes or sell grows, it does, and that would be great, really. Wouldn't that be ideal? And that's what I always say. My channel is a little bit all over the place, but the message that underlies all of it is the same. That like the only answer right now to everything going on, in my opinion, is to be vote with your dollar, the few dollars we have left, and to be as self-sustainable as possible. And if you yourself can't like grow a bunch of food, try to support people in your area that do. And A. Rivek said, "Sides, I'm on no one's side because no one is on my side." Treebeard, I don't, the ENT, um, what's that short for? It's called social media brain, Pinkerton said. Yeah, it's because they're aware of the Matrix fireworks. That's funny. Take the WNBA, James said. Well, I mean, if they're making enough money to keep them afloat. Yeah, the other day I decided to go into a sketchy area and I heard gunshots and saw a guy that looked like he lived in Alaska with dogs. Grew. I don't know where you live, but that sounds sketchy. Bertha, no, the Gen Z stare is when someone says the dumbest shit, so the Gen Zs stare at them, wondering how they're real. um, Index glossary. I don't know what you said before you said I'm sorry, I'm just fed up with the noise, but um yeah, I don't know what you said. Anybody that wants me to see something, like you have a question, repeat it. I'm probably gonna leave at 10 o'clock in 10 minutes. Bertha son does it to me all the time, and I just sit there staring speechless and shake my head. Hey Yoder, how are you? I didn't see you in here yet. Oh, Lever Action is from Lincoln, Alabama, or is in, oh my gosh, hello from Lincoln, Alabama. How are you, Lever? Oh, I'm glad you're doing great, James. You and Guru are Utah girlies? Okay, Bertha, that's cool. So have you been feel I wonder if it's even heavier there in Utah. Hey Zeus, what? Leave America because you went out of business, pay working people a livable wage, and you'll see a lot of things begin to get straightened out. Yes, I think, with the big corporations, you're definitely right. When it comes to like smaller businesses, it must be a little bit more hard, but still, I think if you can't afford to pay somebody decently, then these girls that I like to watch, thank you, baby. They had a podcast together. Hey, Diamond, how are you doing tonight? These girls had a podcast and then they decided they're just gonna stop it and they like just announced it and then their followers were like, "You're not gonna have a last show." And they did, and they're like, "Sorry, we just decided like we were doing too many and like we couldn't pay our editors and like so we're just not gonna do it anymore." And like, wow, this is like big YouTuber problems, like, why wouldn't you just edit it? Like, why don't you just edit your own podcast then? We can't afford to pay somebody else to do it, so we're just gonna give up completely. We were getting like 30,000 views a show. I don't get that. But anyways, this is the point where I just ramble. Diamond, you're fine. I did see that you uploaded today. How are you doing? I'm glad that the leaves are starting to change here, and I do have a lot of edited videos planned, even though my edited videos get like 100 views or less on them. I'm still hopeful that one day I'll get like put in the algorithm like I was for the live. Jesus, my thing is if you can't pay workers a living wage, you don't have a viable business. Oh no, Jesus, I agree with that actually. I had a weighted blanket business for several years. I made weighted blankets. I did everything. My husband did help me ship them, which was a great help, if you can imagine shipping like several weighted blankets at once. But I did marketing, construction, design, buying the materials. And I think I agree with you. If you don't have enough to give somebody like a good like here, like $20 an hour is like starting to be a decent living wage. Really, I mean, I know that that's like so low. Hey Tony, how are you? Tony said, Patrick Star, I don't know if you're trolling. If you are, don't. If you aren't trolling, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, I think I read that comment and I am, yeah. I hope you have somebody you can talk to if that's true, Patrick Star. 20 in Cali is poverty. Oh, I know, OG. That's what me saying it, it's like 700 something dollars a week. That really isn't enough. Like I said, okay, I don't want to like sound like I'm bragging, but I think it is an important message to like encourage people. And that's something that Jack Morgan did, the guy that's like, no woman should ever complain or ever be financially poor because she could always have a man take care of her no matter what. Like there's all these rich, wealthy men, but he really encouraged people to like live below your means and try to get your bills as low as possible. And that's what we need to tell young people, like no credit cards. That's something Charlie Kirk said. No credit cards. Like you have to play the game somewhat if you want to like get approved for a mortgage loan, but at the same time it's like you need to be so careful in the car situation, instead of going and getting the most expensive car or house you can. Um I think most people seem to wait till they get 100,000 subs till they hire an editor. Right, Diamond? Yeah, these girls have that. Fishing a pastor policy for fasting for 60 days to be a mod. Joking. Oh my gosh, Mr. Carey, that's so funny. No, Amir, I am not Muslim. I am not religious. If anything, I do lean towards Christianity, Jesus Christ, and the Bible. Dan, no, I think the most fascist people are the people who, no, um, definitely pro-fascist. I'm against the people who are acting the most fascist right now. No, I've been married for 15 years. It's not Scientology channel. Patrick, there are more intelligent ways to troll using the cried wolf method creates unfair skepticism in the minds of people who might encounter someone who is serious and needs help. Good point, Aroshi. Thank you for making that. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work 100 hours and be quiet. Right, Fendi? Right? That's oh gosh, that pull them up by them bootstraps, and it's even harder now more than ever to climb up the economic ladder. It's like stagnant wage stagnation, inflation, and basically like if you don't know somebody, like it's gonna be so much harder for you to get a really good corporate job. Not that you can't. Oh, Amir, I'm just not interested in religion. I am a spiritual person that believes in God, but I don't definitely not going to be religious. I accidentally signed up for Netflix and they keep taking my money. Oh, Guru, I hate it when that happens. Mary, well, you can say whatever you want. We're about to sign off of here in about 7 minutes, but welcome. Pharaoh, you're still here? Or are you a new Pharaoh? Why did God task Abraham with sacrificing Isaac and abandoning Ishmael? I don't know the answer for that because he was just testing him, right? He wanted to test his faith. Is that the right answer? I deleted off my phone, but they keep taking my money. Well, yeah, you need to call him. Diamond said, same. I lean towards Jesus in the Bible, but can't call myself a true Christian. Yeah, that's how I feel. 907 Pike, Alaska. I'm an old believer, Orthodox in Alaska. That's cool. Oh, yeah. You're gonna have to pay for Netflix every single month. Well, I hope I made all my points clear. Like that happens a lot where it's like I don't want to like drive the points home too much or like go on and on with like my own anecdotes and everything. But basically, red pill rhetoric sucks a lot of people in because there is a lot of truth to what they say, but we can't keep just pointing the finger at women. And we need to see what is the root of the problem. Like, how did we all get here? Like, if women had nothing to do with building society, how did we have everything to do with tearing it down? Can somebody that believes in all of this explain that one to me? That it is to empower young people and make them feel like able is the best thing. And I think that a lot of red pill, it's like the opposite of that. You're only going to like make people paralyzed in their fear, or like affirmed in their nihilistic beliefs that like nothing good will ever happen, therefore nothing good ever will happen. And Charlie Kirk did a great job steering possibly those hurt feelings in a better direction. Like you focus on yourself and bettering yourself so you can and believing in God. I didn't bring that up, goodness. Of course, having faith and being a God-fearing person is something that, and I'm sure some red pill people talk about, but not enough. And he definitely was trying to instill better morals and guide people on a better path than anybody else in that red pill space. But it's just like so much of the stuff he said was so similar. And like, oh, I'm starting to see like, how is he not far right? Like, who is far right if Charlie Kirk wasn't far right? And he even made a joke. I found him joking around, calling himself a moderator, a moderate, laughing at it. And people in my life were like saying he was a moderate, and he was laughing at that joke himself. He was not a moderate. I'm not saying he was extreme either. I don't think he was extreme in his beliefs. Um, if you want to see somebody that's like the actual extreme thing that I think people mistook Charlie for, I think they thought he was more like Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a downright hateful, racist, misogynistic person, and he's proud to tell you about it. Charlie was not like that at all. He might have said a lot of off the cuff stuff. I really just genuinely don't think he was like a hateful, racist person. I don't. I don't think he was a hateful, misogynistic man full of hate for all women. I don't. I really don't. I think a lot of men like him might say misogynistic things because I'm going to stand firm in that. It is misogynistic to say women shouldn't be able to vote. But a lot of those men, like they might get discounted by people, but actually, he thinks highly of you, higher of you than a lot of the liberal men that are trying to white knight, and make women feel I'm a feminist. I'm a feminist, which I have so much to say about so much, but it's like also kind of hard to keep it on like one subject when you're kind of touching upon a bunch of little subjects. And like, I do want to talk about the birth rate more. He said a lot about the birth rate. And once again, it's like pointing the finger at women instead of looking at this late stage capitalism. Like, this is the reason why so many women are leaving motherhood too. It's like we all have to pay bills. But on top of that, like, instead of bettering themselves as fathers, the old trope, like the dad that's like uninvolved in like more men are being better about that. But like we need to have like this big movement that's like, if you want to have a family, you need to help with that. And like it's so easy for the man to be like, oh yeah, this was a poll that I saw often. I saw it several times. Men still want kids, and women, it's like the number one thing men want. It's like the number 10 thing women want when they were polled. And it's like, that's not just a result of women being horribly selfish. That's a result of this horrible environment we're all in. And it's like we're struggling. We're really struggling having to work and be the main parent and do most of the domestic labor at home. That's the boat that most women are in. I myself have never been in that spot, but honestly, I can say there has been times where I had to be like, "Hey, can you like help a little bit more with this?" But like never close to what some women go through. And then it was there was never a pushback like, "Oh, that's a woman's job," or something. Like I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. I saw this TikTok that was going viral where this woman was talking about how her husband eats all the food in the house. No matter what, he eats all the food. She brought home a rotisserie chicken. Her 17-year-old son, who's bodybuilding right now, I can empathize with that so much, was so upset that her husband ate the whole chicken. And that he does this with food. He grew up in a children with family with 9 children. They were poor. So obviously he has some food insecurities. And she's like laying this all out, because she's done all this work I'm just assuming, okay, I'm going to assume that she did that mental work, like, oh, this is why you are the way that you are. And then they've been married 27 years. And she's like, of course, like this happens every single time. Every single time a woman's story goes viral complaining about her husband on TikTok. Show me one time this hasn't happened. People are like, "Oh, that's awful. Why do you put up with that?" And then she comes back, she's like, "Oh no, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. It's fine. Everything's fine." And like she is basically saying that all women have to put up with something. And she's like, my friends that are single, like they ask me the same thing, like, why do you put up with this? But like all my friends that are married, like put up with similar type of stuff. And I'm sure there's stories floating around about women, being horrible wives for several reasons. But it's just women put up with so much till they get to their breaking point. That's why they file for divorce 80% of the time. And a lot of the time, they've been crying out for help, and their husband acts surprised at that point when it happens. If 80% of employees left the workforce? Would you say, "What's wrong with those employees?" Or would you be like, "Well, how are they being treated at work?" You know? That was a good analogy, and yeah, marriage and employment isn't, like, the greatest comparison, but what else do you compare it to, you know? I have a video talking about how, like, women have a hard time submitting to their husbands, but they'll submit to a male boss at work. They'll, submit to their father, their grandfather. They'll submit to other males in their lives, but we've been socialized to not submit, that like it is a line, like a boundary they shouldn't like, and that's, but that is the only man you should be submitting to, or one of the only men, or you should have married a man that you can submit to. And Charlie Kirk and his wife touched upon this, and it goes both ways, that you treat the woman very well, like she is the church, like you are Christ and she is the church. It's not like, and that's the thing that they'll talk about, wives being submission, women aren't submissive anymore. They've lost that. Well, yeah, and like we feel like a lot of men have lost their way as well too, you know? Tony, the society wouldn't function without women. They built plenty. Keep that out of here, dude. Oh, somebody's saying, see, this is, nobody can ever say anything back to women. Women brought all the people here. Like, that's, we need each other. We needed you to help build the buildings. You needed us to birth your babies, and that's like the beautiful complementary nature of feminine and masculine is something that, like, if people just appreciated it instead of trying to make it out into something that it's not, like, we're never going to be the exact same. We're not, right? And I hope, like, anybody that really like does think women shouldn't be able to vote and follows me, maybe one day I can be a woman that helps change their mind, or like even if I'm not, I could be a part of that somehow. Like I just think in really abstract ways sometimes it's hard to put into words. Men were to be omega, like king on chessboard. Well, you want to talk about chessboards, the queen is the only piece that can do any move, right? And I think that's pretty significant too. You're gonna compare us to the king and queen in chess. Diamond, I'm going to make another video talking about it, I think, because it hurt me so bad. Oh no, Diamond, what was your last comment? The CK stuff put me over off YouTube for a while. A fellow friend creator cussed me out because of it. What? Why did they cuss you out? Because why, Diamond? I've been emotional too. I've been quite an erratic, histrionic woman as of late. My uterus is wandering around my body, causing me to be in hysteria. I cannot contain my emotions. Hiroshi, I think a real problem is that men and women are being convinced that the sins they are living in are indulged and no longer damaging the soul. A lot of people are convinced evil doesn't exist. Oh, Hiroshi, I completely agree with you. Yes, what we put in and around our body matters so much. And I believe soul ties are created when you're intimate with people. And we were lied to, being told that there's anything good about casual sex and that it should be really ingrained in people from now on not to be like that. Fendi, I don't like Nick Fuentes, no. No, I haven't seen tons of his content. I just started following a woman who covers Nick. I know that's funny. I don't watch him, but Bring the Asteroid News, she's funny to me. I don't know why she follows him so much, or like me, 'cause I don't know. But the stuff that he said about, I think Nick Fuentes is a little incendiary. Jeff is rocking my glossy hot pink lipstick and matching nail polish tonight. That's nice. Lost in thought, I don't think the red pill is necessarily saying women are the root of all evil, just an observation about modern dating culture. Oh, and I get where you're coming from with that, lost in thought. But they never take any accountability from their perspective. They're never talking about how men can better themselves. And that's why, like I was saying, Charlie Kirk would be the answer to that. He could have been somebody that like takes these red pill talking points. That's, like I said, it is a lot of pointing out the obvious in society, but then they offer no real working solutions, no real way to resolve anything. And it just leaves people, I've been saying this a lot lately, in a negative feedback loop, and they're coming back for more. And it's just this echo chamber that doesn't do anything good for anybody. And I just think it's so interesting. The whole thing is so interesting. How like they have girls, they despise OnlyFan models. They have them sit up there on a panel, dressed scantily clad, They subscribe to them. They try to sleep with them after the show, but then like the whole time they're talking about how, like this is the bane of all society. And I do think sex work is the most dangerous, unsustainable, worst work a woman could do. I think it is bad, and I think it is sad that it's gotten to the point where it's so normalized. But they're not saying that like from that place of like caring for, they're just like pointing the finger at like you little, it's all your fault. Like they just, and I try to do a good job teaching my sons, like, it is a fine balance, like, I think women are so beautiful, I'm not sexually attracted to them, and I really do feel for men, like, it must be a hard life to walk around being sexually attracted to, like, beautiful women and, like, seeing so many beautiful women all the time. At a certain point, don't you, like, get over it? Don't you get used to it? Can't you, like, you know what I mean? Not be controlled by it, and that's what they want to dumb us down so much. They want to dumb women down to the point where we're just like narcissistic, materialistic, soulless, vapid creatures, and they want to dumb men down so much to like where like all that matters to them is, what they're gonna do with what's in their pants. And it is such I mean, it is just crazy that industry. Hey, Rebecca, none of these terms mean anything. Moderate, far left, far right, all defined by what? Yeah. Robert, are you calling me a self-hating woman? That's funny. Diamond. Even that Jeffree Star guy said he didn't support what happened. Right? Yeah, Jeffrey does lean a little more conservative. He lives out there in Wyoming and stuff, but I saw that video, Diamond. Yeah. And he was like live when it happened. He was literally live on his own. Goes live a lot on TikTok, I think. And he was so disturbed seeing the reactions in real time. And it was great to see somebody like in real time. He didn't hesitate. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, this is so wrong. Oh, Diamond, I don't mean to make you upset, but I did have a few lives about it. I know you don't like replaying lives, but like I think my first live I did, the one where I got like 7,000 views, was way better than my live where I didn't have a script and I got like 27,000 views, most views I've ever gotten on any video on my channel. But it was okay. And I can't wait to be able to screen share with you guys. I think Nick has some validity in his views. However, he definitely leans on more antagonistic side of things, Erosi said. Yeah, and I know that that's kind of like his shtick. And I feel so bad for men in this like really nihilist. When I saw this compilation of him saying that like it's gay, why am I? It's gay to sleep with women, and he's like just the misogyny, man, the misogyny, they're so misogynistic. They'd rather sleep with men that look like women than women. And like I shouldn't go into that. Can't even go into that any further than that. But it really is a legit thing. Like this is something that's taken place in like far right, and all over the place, all over the place. And that's one thing that the shooter, when talking about their furry Discord group, these people are into some weird, sick shit. It's like, um, it's funny to me how like the political radicalization kind of like ties into that. It's like they're being groomed for the sexual stuff as well as the political stuff. Okay. Now, I didn't realize what time it was. Yeah, my closest childhood friend, he has been getting in the friendship, and I'm just like, why, dude, you're better than that, Tony said. Right. It's like people are just clinging on to something, and it's so many people don't have somebody in their life mentoring them. And I just feel like it's so detrimental. Not everybody. Some people have a good solid foundation, and it's not going to be detrimental to listen to some echo chamber of like, okay, I didn't see why you were mad, Fishing Queen. What's the matter? No, I am not Jewish. I'm not anything like that. Charlie absolutely did not point the finger at women. He challenged men to be so much more than they are today. Well, yeah, when he talked about, I said that when he talked about like single motherhood, at least he talked about how men shouldn't be out there sleeping around, like that's one thing that he did that why I put in my title is like the answer to the red pill stuff. Because like they'll just be like, oh, this is so horrible that like women are single. There's so many single parent households that like, let's create some more. And they go down to Colombia, which has the highest rate of single motherhood of any Latin American country. And I could go on and on about the stuff that they encourage men to do. And now men are being offed and robbed and drugged going to these countries because they refuse to buy a date dinner here, but they'll get a passport, a plane ticket, a hotel room, spend all this money. to get a cheap date in a third world country. It's absolutely ridiculous. And now those thing guys are like, oh, they're becoming just like women in first world countries. Like it's not what you mean. They're not as easy to use and abuse. It's so sick. It's so sick. There are plenty of conservative-minded women. If you want one, you haven't found one, you're just not looking hard enough. In my opinion, that is a very big opinion. I'm sorry if I'm hurting anybody's feelings. I'm really not trying to hurt feelings. I'm trying to encourage you that like men like to conquer. Often men choose the woman that's more liberal that they know don't align with their views because they want to try to like conquer her. And yes, women do the same thing, trying to change a man, but that's completely different and like stupid and not like ingrained in their biology is like what I'm talking about. I feel like men, they see something as like, oh, she's playing hard to get. I'm gonna conquer that. I agree with you about inflation. I think it's hard for women to be traditional in modern I can never say that word right. Modernity. Yes, lost in thought. That's my point too, right? It's like in this world we're all thrown into as a woman, it's really hard to be the kind of woman that a lot of these people say you need to be unless you do have a big support system. You do come from a really nice family. A lot of us don't. Fendino, just get your blue book and leave the West. Don't waste time playing needle and haystack game. Oh, I would love to do that. I mean, once my kids are done with school. Reagan, there's something to your left. I'm not gonna look. It's good to see you, Diamond. I'm glad that you hopped on here. Exactly, Charlie and others like him want moms to be able to stay home. And I do think there's value in his message to encourage women to be mothers. I want to make more videos on that. It's just such a touchy subject, between the people that want to be mothers and can't because of fertility issues and just like life circumstances to just hurting people's feelings. Like, but I don't really care to hurt child free by choice people's feelings. If they're like gonna sit around and call me a breeder or something, I'm sure they're not all like that. But a lot of the vocal ones, it's like they um what is that term where they just believe no baby should be born? It's more like antinatalist. Um, a lot of women are superficial nowadays, Jay Brooks. Yes, I agree with you, and social media has done that. So I need to just put a sign behind me that's like, I have a scar on my nose. Like, what is that? Social media has warped women's brains in a way that I think adult media has done to men's brains. Thank you, moderators. Okay. It's only touchy because you're influenced by modern liberal schooling and politics. Why wouldn't you want women staying home raising kids instead of public schools? I do stay at home and I home educate my children. So you're preaching to the choir. First of all, not everybody is set up to adequately home educate children. And that's one thing that Charlie said. He's like, if in one of his latest lives, he's like, if you don't homeschool, I'd love to hear your reason why. I think everybody should. Something like that. And I'm like, there's somebody in my last life saying that they were homeschooled and their parents didn't teach them how to read and they couldn't read till they were like 12 years old to no fault of their own. Like that's what happens sometimes. And I like not having anybody have to come to my house and check up on me once a year, but I also really do feel like it's sad that we don't have more regulations like that for homeschooling families. I've been a stay-at-home parent for most of my 15-year marriage, and I definitely think that that is ideal. But with the way things are priced right now, it is so incredibly hard. Shaw to the T. Hey, how are you? You want to meet a woman overseas? We need the nuclear family to continue operating the nuclear facilities, infrastructure, energy to power this country. Women belong at home. Yeah, but like, okay, so I had my babies at 19, 22, and 30. Like, you can only, like, I wouldn't want to stay at home for like literally the rest of my life. I knew a woman I met her. I didn't know her that personally. Tiny Bartholomew in Jeffersonville, Indiana. She went to law school in her 50s. She became a well-respected judge in her county in her 60s. Like you have your whole life. So because I had babies for 10 years of my life, I'm not supposed to do like anything else outside. That's a little crazy when you really like think about yourself and like literally only and it would be great if you have a big family and lots of grandkids. I could see that being a full-time job for your whole life and being very fulfilling. I would love that, but that's not the case for most of us anymore. And oh, thank you, Jared. At least you can see the scars on the outside. Jay Hardy said, "Oh, Jay Hardy, how are you? I was just getting ready to sign off of here. How are you doing tonight?" I'm a Pisces. I don't do readings. I don't know that much about that stuff anyway. Kentucky changed the law last year, made homeschooling even harder, Diamond said. Yeah, it's like the paperwork was a little different. Rich Clark, it's that way because we insisted women get jobs and vote. Well, I think women had something to do with that. So, and I wouldn't say that, okay, so women fought for decades, absolute decades, to be able to vote. And women were asked to help during the wartime in World War II, and they did. They stepped up to the plate and they helped. And a lot of them never left the workforce after that. So, when people are under this impression like the 50s and 60s was just full of stay-at-home moms, that's simply not true. All the women in my family worked, like my great grandma, my grandmas. My mom stayed at home with us. But yeah, it's like I empathize, I wanna help more people who are on the same path, hopefully encourage them, but at the same time, I don't wanna come off as somebody like Charlie that, like, things like, "Yeah, I think this should be, like, the focus for most women," or it's just hard, like, times are hard. I think that everything's happening the way that it's supposed to, and the birth rate is gonna continue to plummet. Brian said, "I live near Jeffersonville. Long live Tiny Bartholomew." That's so cool, Brian. Oh, I love that. Megadeth and Metallica. Hi, civilians. How are you? Thanks for subscribing. Nothing Else Matters is one of my favorite Metallica songs, Yoder. Oh my gosh. Miley Cyrus covered it. She does a good cover of it. We're all human. We want and need different things at different stages in life. Diamond said, "You're just hanging out, Jay Hardy." Spirit box. I don't know, Domingo. I have 3 hernias, so I don't really do jumping jacks these days. Yoder wants to know how many you can do. It's a lot of stress to work a full-time job and have kids. Yes, lady, that's what I was saying. It's so easy to be like, okay, so there's this poll. I didn't really finish this thought. It's like younger women, they're like, top 10 things that are important to them, having children is 10th. For men, it's number 1. It's like, yeah, it's so easy for the men to say, you don't have to risk your life. You don't have to go to a hospital and give birth. Oh my goodness. With the way that things are right now, I am pro-life myself, okay? I'm very, very pro-life. But it is so scary the things that are happening to women in hospitals nowadays, women that are miscarrying, having miscarriages, the things that are happening because of these abortion laws. It's horrible and awful, and we should all be aware of that. I would be scared to get pregnant on purpose right now because of the stuff happening when women have miscarriages. And I don't think it's just fear mongering. That one woman was Adriana Smith on life support for months, and they took the baby out of her body because okay, I'm sorry. It's so disturbing. They were trying to let the baby stay longer, but her body was like literally I don't know how to say it nicely, It was, Rotting, and it's all because they were like, um, when she was brain dead, they couldn't take the baby, and then they had to leave her body on life support long enough for the baby to get bigger. Oh, it's so terrible. I would be scared to get pregnant as a woman. We need to, like, have these honest conversations. We need to Charlie Kirk did bring up things like maternity leave, paternity leave, like, how about, like, we're the only first world country that doesn't have paid parental leave? Like, yeah, the birth rate is gonna plummet. What the fuck do you think is gonna happen? These people are so, like, off in their own little world, and the way they look at it for so long is just like, well, because there was so much extra money. If earners, retail. No, that's how we are, right? Like, what was the last thing you bought that you didn't need? And we had a family member help out with my kids' back to school clothes. And I'm honest about these things. I'm honest that, yeah, my sister helped keep our lights on. And if somebody tries, I don't feel ashamed because of that, because I know we're not the only people that struggle financially sometimes. And like I said, like our bills are actually pretty cheap. We bought a really cheap house on purpose. And like it still is hard to keep afloat. So I really do feel for people that have to pay twice as much as what we pay to have a 3 bedroom. It's not right. And I'm not gonna let anybody make me feel ashamed, but it is good motivation. That's what I'm trying to use it as, like, motivate me to get debt free. Like I am really frugal. Oh my gosh, Jay Hardy, you. Oh, Jay Hardy, I'm sorry. Okay. I have a buy me a coffee link now. It is in the description of my channel. I should give it to Mr. Carey. You don't have to go get it right now, Mr. Carey, but there's a buy me a coffee link. I found the only way you can I get 95% of the buy me a coffee money. So if anybody does want to donate, don't have to. I am not Pisces, no. I'm sorry for anyone that has a miscarriage, but cry to an 18-year-old boy drafted in Vietnam that sees his buddy's head explode in war on behalf of Israel, probably Fez. No, that is absolutely horrible, Fez. And I just I don't want to see any of our men go to war, die in any rich man's wars anymore. There's no easy answer to that, but I'm really sorry for anybody that had to go through that. And I don't, my only answer to that is yes, that's horrible. That's horrible and tragic. But how many men did that happen to compared to how many women have miscarriages, have to go through birthing complications, are traumatized for the rest of their lives. And I think this is the reason why there's kids with issues too. Our birthing process, oh my gosh, the things they do to babies in their first day of life, oh my gosh, could that be a reason why so many kids have sensory issues and stuff? Probably. And I have another good video on my channel is like about how birth used to be when they would give women scopolamine, knock their asses out. Only they were going crazy to the point where they had to strap them down, their ankles and their wrists, strap them down while they gave birth. This was like in the 40s, 50s even. There's people today, the boomers born today through with that scopolamine shit. Do you think that might be a reason why some of these boomers are a little disconnected? Because I do. Sorry. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'm going to watch a USC game, Jesus said. Have fun watching the game, Jesus. Oh, thank you, Mr. Carey. That's so nice of you. I meant to say something. See, I was running around. I Instacarted till 9:45 last night, and yeah, I meant to like email Mr. Carey. Like, I'm so bad about that to give him the heads up. I don't even email him. There's just a lot of traffic, and I'll take the trolls because, I'm not modding, it's easy for me to say, but lady, they don't even have women give birth in the proper birthing position. They make them give birth on their back lying down on the bed. I know, they're like working against gravity. I know, lady. I've given birth twice in a hospital and once at home, and like your instinct is definitely to squat. Like I don't see unless you're absolutely exhausted. I did birth my placenta on my black back. Sorry if this is TMI, but once again, if we actually lived in a gynocentric society, that's something red pill people say. We live in a gynocentric society. No, we don't. We do not live in a gynocentric society. We live in a porn obsessed society. Oh, I'm sorry, a porn obsessed society. Overly objectified. When men see women, their brain lights up in the same part where they see a tool, the tool category, not in all the different parts where it lights up. When you see a person, a whole person, and see a woman, you light up in one specific spot, and that's tools. And a lot of men just see women as a means to an end. And yeah, sorry. Oh, Lindsay, that's really sad. Yeah, I did hypnobabies. There's oh, my mom had natural birth one time. She scared the shit out of me from doing it time. Like, oh, it's so horrible. Talking about the ring of fire and stuff. And it's like, no, it wasn't that bad, but I was very well prepared for it. And I didn't have any complications. Like if the baby is sunny side up or anything else, like it could be totally different. But yeah, I think I'm going to go now. Jay Hardy, I appreciate it. And I don't want anybody to feel like they have to donate to my Buy Me a Coffee, but I am going to have Mr. Carey link that because I think I can say this. Used to you couldn't say this, but like YouTube does take like 40%. Like whenever you give to any YouTuber, the super chats and stuff, just so people know. And the Buy Me a Coffee, I get 95% of that. It was the best way for me to I believe it uses PayPal. I don't know for sure. I think you can use a credit card, but I would like, okay, you want me to post that on the community page, Tony? I would like to get a better setup sooner than later. Anything that gets donated to me now, like now that we're pretty much we're probably going to be living paycheck to paycheck always and forever. But you know what I mean. We're like we're almost caught up. Anyways, I want to get better equipment. I want to be able to screen share with you guys. And like a live like tonight would be so much better because I could be showing you videos of what Charlie said, of what the examples of things that other people said. And I really want to do that. And I think you guys can probably tell I am the kind of person that has like 100 tabs open on my browser at any given time. Like I'm sure a lot of you are. and it will be fun to have more visuals. I think it will be so much more fun. So I'm gonna say bye. I'm sorry if I missed anybody's comments. Um, Jay Hardy, thank you so much. You are such a sweetie. I appreciate all your support. Yoder, can you all check out the GoFundMe I posted on my page, please? Thank you. Yoder has a GoFundMe on her page. And anybody that's interested in homestead type content, Yoder does a lot of good content. I'm sorry, like my contacts are blurry. I swear, it's like every 100 comments, "What happened to your nose?" I need to just get a t-shirt that's like, "I have a scar on my nose." I feel for people that have, like, really crazy scars because I feel like that's not even that big. Yeah, man, y'all, I need to put more makeup on. I need to just, like, get concealer, like, not I really don't care about it, but at the same time, I just feel like it's distracting a lot of people. Okay. Good night, Tony. Good night, Mr. Carey. Good night, Diamond. Good night, Yoder. Good night, Jay Hardy. Good night, everybody else. Threshold moment. I do understand where you're coming from, but I hope you can understand the trolls can be so ridiculous. It's really not the mod's fault. It's the ridiculous trolls. Like they do a good job, and we try to let people say, all sorts of stuff in here, but it's just crazy. Yeah, Ozzy was great. Love you guys. Oh, thank you, Diamond. Good night.